India go to Ahmedabad for yet another World Cup final. It was too close for comfort, but then India win it by only 7 runs in a game where almost 500 runs were scored. India were tested mentally, emotionally. Fans had their heartbeat soaring as well. But then India crossed the finish line. Commiserations to England. Congratulations to India, who will play New Zealand in that big World Cup final to defend the title in Ahmedabad on Sunday. You're watching Cricbuzz Live. My name is Manish Batavia. We've got a crestfallen Michael Vaughan and a delighted Ajinkya Rahane in the house. Ajinkya, it was just too close for comfort, but then somehow, India pulling it off. How relieved are we?
What a game. So, when India scored that 253, we all thought Indian team is going to win that game easily. The emotions were flowing. I don't generally express my emotions, but no, you saw that inning when England were batting 3 down in the power play. And after that, how they batted, how well they batted.
Yeah.
It was pure joy to watch. As a cricketer, as a cricket lover, and also the fan. What a game. I mean, great composure shown by the Indian team. I'm sure they must have been really nervous when Bethell and Sam Curran and Will Jackson were batting together. That partnership, what they had, was amazing. But it takes a lot of courage, a lot of character, and also, to keep everything calm under pressure. Takes everything. What a game. Really enjoyed it thoroughly. I mean, credit to Bethell, how well he batted. That 100 was really special, but really happy to see Indian team in the one more finals.
Michael, one team has to lose. That's the nature of the sport. But it's a game worthy of a semi-final. So close. We had a one-sided washout from New Zealand last night, where this is a semi-final for the ages. It's a rivalry that is getting better and better with each World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tremendous game for the batting purists to watch, but I don't think the bowlers will be celebrating the ground and the wicket. But full credit to India. They've got to another final. They're the favourites to win the tournament because they've got wonderful players, but they were pushed tonight.
Yeah.
And you just go back to that Harry Brook drop catch, Sanju Samson early, just little moments like that at the start of a game that I always felt when it happened, would we be talking about it 3 hours later? Well, we are doing. Just little moments like that. England in the field weren't quite as good as they've been in previous games in this World Cup. I thought the bowling was all right because it looked to me like it was just a rolled slab of concrete where you miss your line and length by an inch and it was going into the stand. So it wasn't easy for the bowlers, but, the different combinations, the captains, both sides were trying different things, trying to bowl one side, trying to bowl straight. The one thing I look at, I think India nailed a few more Yorkers better than England did. And we saw that England bowled 3 Yorkers, and from those 3 Yorkers, I think 3 runs came. Yeah. And I haven't got the actual stats in front of me, but I'm pretty sure the Yorkers that India nailed were more than 3, and they also went for like ones for every kind of Yorker. So maybe that was a little difference as well. But credit to England for giving it a full go. Inside 6 months now, Jacob Bethell has got his first ODI 100, his first Test match 100, and now his first T20 100. We talk about generational talents. I think we've got one there.
Just to add on what Michael spoke about Bethell. I mean, what a joy to watch him back tonight. Under pressure, chasing 253 and getting 100 is amazing. We also spoke about the catches. Before this game, Indian team's catching percentage was around 70%, and England team's catching percentage was around 82 or 83%. But it goes to show this game is so cruel. One off day, one bad day in the field. Batting and bowling, it was at par. But the fielding wise, couple of brilliant catches from Akshar Patel, couple of good saves from the Indian team, and that was the difference we saw, the 6 or 7 run margin victory.
Well, and that's probably where the game's been won and lost in the field, because Axter takes 2 screamers. England have dropped, obviously, that early one, Harry Brook. Tom Banton dropped one on the edge. There was 3 or 4 fumbles in the outfield. Not seen that throughout the whole tournament. And you can never put a number, because who knows, Sanju gets out there and someone else coming earlier, and maybe Sky would have got a big score. You don't know, but from what we saw with the ground field and a couple of the catches that India took, there was certainly a big sway in the game.
So much that happened in this game, and in England perhaps missing out by just one scoring shot. I mean, one ball. 34 dot balls in this chase from England. They lose by 7. It could have very well been England's game had it not been for a man that's a gift to Indian and world cricket. Overs number 16 and number 18. Jasprit Bumrah, you beauty, you absolute magician. Take a look at that under pressure. I mean, England were on the up in that sense, at that point, and he bowls an 8-run 16th over and then a 6-run 18th over, as if it's not a man, as if it's a machine delivering those pinpoint computer precision Yorkers. Jasprit Bumrah is superhuman.
He's a world-class bowler. See, he was magical tonight, bowling on that flat track. What I saw about Bumrah tonight was first 2 overs was completely different. The first slower ball to Harry Brook getting out. He tried a lot of slower balls in the first 2 overs and then went back to his Yorkers, 3rd and 4th over.
Yeah.
Bowling 8-run and 6-run over. That 18th over of 6-run was amazing. He was really magical. Now, you take 3-4 overs of Bumrah, 33 runs, and you see other bowlers.
Yeah.
Every single one of them, they struggled. And it was a very good track. See, you don't want to pinpoint any particular bowler here because even England bowlers, they struggled tonight. But Bumrah, we all know how special, how talented. But doing it each and every time, every game was amazing. So, as I said, he was magical tonight.
He's the best in the world. It's as simple as that, and he proved it once again tonight. Because you look, there's quality on both sides. You know, Jofra Archer's quality, Jamie Overton, Adil Rashid. You look at Arshdeep Singh. You look at Hardik. The quality bowlers. Chakravarti is a quality bowler, but when you're world class, and on a pitch like we've seen tonight, the real quality comes through. Yeah, and that's exactly what Bumrah did tonight.
Well, they often say a captain is only as good as the team, and at the 10-over mark, England were cruising 119. Michael and I were on Cricbuzz Combox, and he said, well, fingers crossed, who knows? Jacob Bethell might go on and do something that he has the talent for. And take a look at what happened. At that stage, at the halfway mark, Michael, Suryakumar Yadav had 3 overs of Jasprit Bumrah left, and that was perhaps the only reason that gave India the hope that they'll be okay. They've got enough with 3 overs of Bumrah left. He's a fixed deposit. He's an insurance policy, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, and he. You know, I think particularly in a game like tonight, he steps up his mentality. You can see the focus at the end of the run-up. You can see him studying the batter. You can see when is he going to bowl that Yorker straight? When is he going to go wider? When is he going to bowl that cutter? When is he going to bowl that cutter slow ball into the wicket? He did it for Sam Curran a couple of times where Sam was, completely bamboozled, understandably. That's why the combox, I always felt India had enough because of the 3 overs left from Bumrah. And if you look at the history of the game, this kind of number just doesn't get chased. Yeah. It doesn't. We always get a bit excited, but at the end of the contest, it's like when England was chasing 430 in the Test match in Adelaide, and everyone's getting excited. But the history tells you might get close and you might get excited, but history tells you that you don't chase that number. And I think with this number tonight, as much as it was exciting, as much as I was on the edge of my seat thinking, "Oh, this could be on," in the back of your mind, you're going, "Nah." It's just never chased. And once again, it's been proven that you get a number on the board that's a big, big number. It's always hard to chase.
Both teams were equal, Ajinkya, at the halfway mark at the 10 over, 119, I think. And yet, England just come very close and couldn't cross the finish line. Clearly, chasing is a different beast in this format.
Yeah, but you see the comparison. Both the teams were going really at the equal rate. But the difference was Bumrah. Now, the mention I want to talk about Bumrah here, he kept it really simple. Those last 2 overs, he just kept on bowling those Yorkers. Now you see England bowlers try to bowl slower balls. At one day we spoke about slower balls can get you those runs, and that was the difference. He just kept on bowling those Yorkers. As a world-class bowler, it's really difficult. Now, if you bowl 2-3 good Yorkers, mind will play some tricks with you. No, bowl slower ball. That was the difference. I thought Bumrah was really clever. He was smart, but also he kept it really simple, bowling those Yorkers and tried to nail the game there.
Sky had to make a few key decisions towards the end there. He had, with 3 overs left, he had 1 of Hardik, 1 of Bumrah, 1 of Akshar Patel, assuming only 5 bowlers were used. But then he goes to Shivam Dube for the last with 30 runs to defend. Did you agree with that call?
No, I mean, it worked in the end because they won, but no, absolutely not. I mean, Akshar Patel's a wonderful bowler. He can fire in the Yorkers from straight to wide. Shivam Dube's last 3 overs now have gone for 68 in this tournament. If he bowls another over for India, India are losing the World Cup. If they have to bowl him on Sunday, they're in a bad position.
But I thought it was a on a given situation, I thought it was a fair call from Surya's point of view, because a spinner bowling the last over when two left-handers are batting can be, and Bethell was he was batting on 100. You never know, 3, 4, 6s. I mean, it can happen. Akshar is a quality bowler. I'm not going away from that. Now, not taking anything away from Akshar Patel.
Yeah.
But I thought how Suryakumar Yadav used Bumrah, Hardik, Arshdeep, and then last over was Shivam Dube was pretty much okay. I mean, Akshar Patel, I thought, could have been either 14th or 15th over or 16th maxed. After that, 25, 26 runs. If spinner is bowling, you know him now. So I thought Shivam Dube was the best option, I thought, which Suryakumar Yadav had. And no, but as Michael said, Shivam has been struggling. The plan, what I saw Shivam bowling, whenever we played together, he generally likes to bowl straighter lines, those hard lengths, and bowling those slower balls, he gets that extra bounce. But whenever he started bowling those wide Yorkers and wider lengths, he actually...
I actually, all the production team were in here once the 19th over had been complete. And once they saw Shivam Dube going to bowl, there was a number of going, we're going to lose. That's from India. 30 to win off the last over. And they're thinking, I keep things simple in cricket. And when you've got an experienced player like Akshar Patel with 30 to play with, all right, there's a left-hander on strike, but there's Jamie Everton down the other end. You've got to give it to your experienced bowler. Those sixes were going. If the first bowler had gone for 6, you know, and actually Jacob should have stayed on strike. He shouldn't have tried to run the 2. Should have stayed on strike. Who knows? You know, you never know. So I'm a big believer in those situations. Who's the experience? You throw the ball to it.
India fielded well, and I suppose to summarize, clearly the fielding was the difference. And if Hardik Patel had not delivered that absolute whiplash of a throw of the first ball of that 20th over, who knows, Jacob Bethell might have finished the game for them.
Yeah, Hardik was fantastic. Even before that run out, I thought the couple of the ground fielding on the boundary line was amazing. The way he ran towards the ball, picking up the ball and throwing towards the wicketkeeper, that showed that he was in total control. And the intensity was Hardik Pandya, Akshar Patel, Tilak Verma, Rinku Singh was on and off on the field. What they bring onto the table was amazing. And tonight's game was purely about the fielding. Spin down to fielding. I thought Indian team were much better. Fielding unit throughout this World Cup, they actually struggled, dropped many catches, but tonight they were really good.
While the whole of India will be delighted to see India go through to the final. Job's not done. They've got a game to win. But we've got to doff our hat off to this 22-year-old born in Barbados, beating a team that won in Barbados the World Cup a couple of years ago. Jacob Bethell, only 22 years of age, Michael. Certainly England have found a brand new white ball superstar.
Well, he's a red ball superstar as well. He's a wonderful player. He's he makes batting look so easy. And the way that he came out from ball one and played reverse sweeps, he played reverse glances, he played a reverse switch hit for 6. And then he was hitting down the ground. You can't play any better than that. We saw Final last night. And I know Jacob used a few more balls, but not many. I think in terms of T20 striking and play, we saw a right-hand monster last night and a left-hand genius tonight. I don't think you can play any better than we saw last night and now tonight. And to do it in a semi-final under the pressure, he's 22 years of age. He's already captained the T20 team. So clearly England see a leader in Jacob Bethell, but he's going to lead with the bat. Over the next few years, he's going to be one of those players. And that's why I look at this England side and you look at the talent that's within it. The opening partnership hasn't worked at all throughout the whole World Cup. And I think at the start of the World Cup, you'd have probably banked on Salt and Butler getting England off to good starts. That's kind of your banker. Well, that's not come to fruition, but Harry Brook at 3, Jacob Bethell at 4, Tom Banton's played nicely. I thought he was 17 off 5. He came out and struck it nice. And then Will Jacks has had an incredible tournament, and Sam Curran. That engine room there from 3 right down to 7, I see that serving England in white ball cricket now for, at least till the 27 50 over World Cup, and again in 2 years' time in Australia, the T20 World Cup. I don't thought they might lose form, and of course, if you lose form, you may lose your place in the side. But they've got something really special to work with England there. They just need to find, a little bit more prowess with the ball. Got to be so focused in the field, and at the top of the order they need to find form. Whether it's that Ben Duckett comes in, whether it's Phil Salt stays with Ben Duckett, Josh Butler, let's wait and see what happens there. But I'd like to see Josh Butler given a time to try and find form to get back into form into the England side. And I'm sure people are right now. It's the end of Joss Butler. It's another World Cup. I think he's got 150 in the last 4 ICC events, and I think it's 27 innings now. And that 50 came against the USA.
Yeah.
So for a player of his quality, it's not a great return, but I think England will be consistent with him and loyal and give him a chance to find that form. I hope they do anyway. But they've got an engine room that you think, you can work with that in all conditions around the world.
Yeah. Joss Butler, 25 of 17 today. He was still struggling, looking a bit scratchy. He did get a couple of hits, but, it's an innings that perhaps he might look back and say, did my strike rate cost England a spot in the finals?
No, I mean, you look at Harry Brooks' strike rate, 116, and Harry's drop catch, and you don't want to pinpoint individuals when you're in a chase. When you get so close, the batting's not lost England the game.
Yeah.
The very, I guess you look at England's bowling attack. They didn't bowl enough Yorkers. They haven't got that Bumrah. If you put Jasprit Bumrah in the England side tonight, I think England win the game.
Yeah,
I think Bumrah's made such a big difference. Even though he's gone for 33, the overs that he bowled at the time that he bowled them were crucial for that win. Yeah. I think if you said to Jasprit, right, you're going to play for England tonight, I think England are going into the final.
Also, I feel the difference where what I saw, we spoke about Sanju, we spoke about Ishan Kishan, Shivam Dube contribution from the Indians' point of view. But Tilak Verma's 3 sixes in Jofra Archer's over.
Towards the end, yes.
Towards the end, those sixes were really crucial.
Yeah.
The small things in this format matters a lot. You spoke about Bumrah special, the 18th over and before that as well. That won us the game. But I think contribution from Tilak Verma, those 3 sixes of Jofra Archer. Hitting Jofra, it's not easy, but takes courage to play those shots. So I thought his knock, 29, 30 or something, was really amazing.
In football, you're up against players, aren't you? I think in cricket, we in the UK will be looking at Jofra versus Bumrah tonight.
Yeah.
Similar kind of talk about bowlers in all formats of the game. Jasprit's gone for 33, Jofra's gone for 61. You look at Chakravarti versus Rashid. Rashid's gone for 40 odd. Chakravarti's gone for 60 odd again. So Adil's won his contest. Jofra's lost his contest. So that kind of nullified it. But that's what you look at. I mean, Jofra gets talked of in the same kind of breath as a Jasprit Bumrah. I think just Jasprit's in a different. He's in a league of his own, and that's Pat Cummins, Josh Hazlewood, even these kind of players that have been incredible. I still think Bumrah's above them.
Yeah,
I just think he's exceptional. So it's sometimes hard to judge one against the other, but you're looking at the difference of those two. Jasprit against Jofra, it's a huge difference.
Well, India are fortunate because Jasprit Bumrah is a gift that keeps giving. There's another man that's sadly looking a pale shadow of himself on that bowling card, Varun Chakravarti. 4 overs, 64. It's got to be his most expensive spell in this format. While India have won, we all know Gautam Gambhir, the kind of personality is and the way he looks at the sport. Is there a reason to worry for India? Does Varun Chakravarti play the final or does Kuldeep come in for that big final on Sunday?
I think from my point of view, I don't think Indian team should be worried or Varun should be thinking too much. He should be in the playing 11. As simple as that. Right now what he needs to do is basically keep it really simple. This format, yes, he's struggling at this moment. He's going for runs, he's leaking runs at this moment, but he has to believe in his ability that if he gets going, he can take you those 3-4 wickets in those 24 balls. It's about that belief. Any bowler can go for runs. See, tactically, because we have Bumrah, the opposition is actually looking to attack Varun Chakravarti. They are looking to attack Akshar Patel. We have Ashdip and Hardik Pandya who's bowling well. So opposition is actually planning it tactically. They're doing it really well. Yeah. Everyone is actually studying Varun Chakravarti. The bowling overs which he's been bowling, he's been really good in the power play. He's really good in the middle overs. He struggled in the death overs, last 4 overs, from 15 to 20 or 16 to 20. He struggled. At this moment, just one game, he just needs to have that belief in his ability that he is going to win the match for the team. Because everyone in the Indian dressing room, I'm sure, they are supporting him, they are backing him, and they believe in him.
Michael, with Varun, is it a confidence issue, or is he trying too hard? Is he bowling too quick and therefore ends up bowling it too short where he gets clobbered? What's happening with him?
I think players are playing him better. It looks to me like he's bowling almost like a slow seamer. I don't think he's getting any revolutions on the ball. He's almost like just putting it there. So the ball's not gripping it. This pitch was pure, so there wasn't a great deal of grip there. But, in the Medibad against South Africa, it was the same. Miller got him, Brevis got him. Teams seem to be hitting him down the ground a lot easier than they have in the past. Whether they're playing him better, again, only the players will know that. But they're cutting him away through the offside on a regular basis. He doesn't seem to be cramping players up. When he's bowling to his best, I always feel like he cramps a right-hander up with that ball that nips back, and left-handers also, he gets that ball to come back into the left-handers. They seem to be able to free up their arms against him at the minute, so maybe he's bowling a little bit too wide. I think they'll go with him again, but I don't think it'll be... I don't think it'll affect India if they went with Kuldeep either. I don't think there'll be a drastic difference if you went with Kuldeep Yadav. The one thing I said, I don't think India haven't played India yet in the tournament, have they?
India haven't played
New Zealand, sorry.
No.
So for that reason, if they'd have played him and he'd been hit by them, you kind of go, up a bit vulnerable. But because he hasn't bowled to this New Zealand team in this time, I know they did pre-World Cup, you'd probably give him another go. I mean, you've got to a final. Been consistent in selection in the last 3 games. You'd think they'll go the same again.
There's one more name. Conceded 51. Tried nailing that wide Yorker. Conceded a few wides as well. Arshdeep Singh has certainly bowled a lot better than the numbers suggest, right?
Yeah, I thought what I liked about Arshdeep tonight was he was clear what he wanted to bowl. So that 1 over, he kept on bowling those wide Yorkers. And eventually he got Will Jack's wicket. A brilliant catch from Akshar Patel and Shivam Dube on the boundary line was amazing. That shows that he was so sure about his ability to bowl those wide Yorkers. He was not worried about bowling those 4 or 5 extra deliveries. And even Suryakumar Yadav, I saw in between, he told him, just keep on bowling those deliveries. So Arshdeep was really good. Sometimes what happens, if you bowl 3-4 wide deliveries, extra balls, you tend to think, I'm going to go straight now. Probably slower balls. And that's the difference. I thought even those 4-5 wide balls made the difference. Will Jack's wicket was the big point because that partnership was going really well. Bethell and Will Jack. So I thought the 51-run numbers suggest something different, but I thought Arshdeep, the way he bowled in the patches was amazing.
And also, man, when you're chasing a number like that, I mean, this is going to sound a bit silly. It's actually quite an easy chase as a batting unit because you don't have to think that much. You've just got to hit. So all you're thinking of hitting, where's the boundary? Just commit to the boundaries, right? Or just whack it. Sometimes when you're chasing 180, 119, you've got to think a little bit. That's when you get a bit confused. So from an England, even when they lost a couple of early wickets, the player goes, usually you go, I'll just give myself a few. And well, they had no other option just to go out there with a complete free mind, just go and whack it. And that's when England are really dangerous. It almost, in a funny way, played into the style of cricket England like to play, which is just whack. England I always look at England when it's a little bit tricky and it's a little bit dusty and they have to work their way through a situation. I'm like, they might just go a bit too hard too soon. But in a funny way tonight, chasing that number on that pitch, it was perfect for the style of cricket that England try and play.
One of the things that Moni Morkel will enjoy talking about in his post-game debrief tonight is the number of attempted Yorkers from India. 15 attempted Yorkers, including full tosses. India conceded only 22 of those 15 deliveries.
Well, we talked fielding, that's where the game's been won and lost. England bowled 3 and went for, did they go for 3 runs?
Well, many.
6. So they went so 3 balls for 6, and India, what did you say? 12 for
22 or 15 attempted Yorkers.
22 or 15.
Economy of 8.8.
The old-fashioned Yorkers back. It's been waiting a while.
So there are certain grounds where you have to keep things really simple. There are certain wickets where you can only bowl slower balls. You don't back your Yorker. So I think Wankhede is such a wicket that probably the Yorker percentage are more higher. If the bowling team tries to bowl Yorkers, though, they'll get that success.
Right, one more name that did really well. The captain of the Mumbai Indians, playing at home in a sense in Mumbai, Hardik Pandya, 4 overs, 38 for 2, and that cracking run out as well. A pretty good day at work for Hardik Pandya as well.
Yeah, no, I've seen on social media today that people are saying that Jansen's the best all-rounder in the world in T20 cricket. I'm going, no, Hardik Pandya's still the best. He's a wonderful cricketer. He seems to want to be in the contest when it gets hot. You saw him at the end there. Who's down at long on? Hardik.
Man with a big throw.
Yeah, exactly. He's just that kind of cricketer. He likes the attention. He likes the pressure of the moment. You look at, he ran out Shivam Dube.
Yep.
You know, again, a more less experienced player might panic in that situation, but he was cool as ice and just went, right, I'll just hit a few sixes for the team. That last over from Will Jacks, you know, the England ball, that was a big play in the game. So you kind of start dicing, and this is the issue. If England had lost by 60, they'd be in that dressing room going, you know, we've just been beaten by India. They're just too good.
Yeah.
But when you lose by a small margin, you start looking at everything. You start looking at your bowling changes. Why didn't we bowl more Yorkers? The drop catches, the fumbles in the field, not nicking more running between the wickets.
Yeah.
It hurts when you get so close. But you know, Hardik is the kind of cricketer that he's now taking the new ball brilliantly. He seems to be getting more shape than many in this tournament. He just always seems to get that away shape to the right hander. And he's batting. He's just a danger man.
Yeah, well, 27 of 12 with the bat, and then bowled that 19th over, pressure over, gave away only 9. That's a different kind of energy with Hardik on the field, isn't it?
Very different energy.
Cheers.
Nice.
We have to talk about the player of the match, Sanju Samson, who's been the reason for a lot of smiles across India to come up with the goods, Ajinkya, in 2 high-pressure games. What a virtual quarter-final. And then
Did you
this
say he was the man
semi-final.
of it's player of the match?
Yep. Who would you have picked?
Just saying, as a left-hander from England, has just scored an incredible 100, even though he's lost.
Yeah, I suppose the temptation
It's a
would be to
tough
go
one,
with
yeah.
the winning team as well. Both of them, of course, played really well. Bethell, credit for taking the game as far as it did. Would you guys be able to pick one of the two? Which one was the better innings?
See, both the innings were bad. I mean, Sanju's knock, coming back from 97, repeating it again, playing classy shots, proper cricketing shots, dominating bowlers. But again, Bethell playing under pressure, playing such kind of shots against all the quality bowlers. Chasing 254, it's not easy. But we saw reverse sweep, we saw switch hit, we saw laps, we saw down the ground as well. Everything was there. It's a tough choice.
I reckon they probably got it right, but I reckon I could make a strong case on a platform that Bumrah could be the man of the match. Even though he got 1 for 33, those 2 overs that he bowled.
Well,
Without those 2 overs, I reckon India lose that game.
maybe just with Bumrah and his fate are saving the best for the last lap on Sunday. We'll talk about that game in just a bit. But while we have the straight shooting Michael Vaughan in the house, we have to talk about the aftermath of this campaign for England. They've had a poor Ashes. They haven't had a great time under Brendan McCullum for a while now. Does a semi-final count as a good campaign, or is there a reason for the ECB to get into a huddle and say, time now to make some big changes?
Well, I think you've got to always let the dust settle. You know, I think it's important that you assess the whole programme, which has been the Ashes and now the T20 World Cup. I think narrowly losing to India in Mumbai, in a game of cricket that we've just witnessed, I think England have gone beyond par. I think if they'd have been hammered here in Mumbai, I'd have said get into a semi-final with the teams that they've beaten so far. You know, New Zealand was a good win, but it was a dead rubber. You know, they didn't have to win that game, so they did, which is great. But getting so close to India in a place like the Wankhede was a great effort. So you kind of go, they've probably gone beyond par in the T20 World Cup. In the Ashes campaign, they were massively under par, hugely under par. And the one thing I'll say is that if you actually look at what England did going into this World Cup, they went to Sri Lanka and played a 50-over series and a T20 series leading into the World Cup in Sri Lanka and India. They looked better for it. They looked better prepared.
Sure.
The preparation for the Ashes was poor. And the outcome of the Ashes was for what England had in terms of the talent and what Australia didn't have in terms of Cummins, Hazelwood, Nathan Lyon, Smith missing a game. I don't think you'd ever get a better chance with the team that England had to go to Australia and beat that Australian side. But they just didn't play the right style of cricket, go to Perth in the first test match. Golden opportunity. They played this expansive game on day 2. 4 hours later, they'd lost a test match. They go to the next game in Brisbane, again, flamboyancy, just basics of catching in Brisbane. The pink ball game cost them there, 2-0 down. You go to Adelaide, the third test match, bowling Australia out quite cheaply on a flat one. They play the expansive game in the first innings, don't get anywhere near what they should have done. Try and chase 430, got quite close and everyone got excited, but you lose the Ashes. English cricket has to be honest and open for conversation to accept that over the course of the last 3 years, we've had some incredibly exciting moments, but we're becoming the bridesmaid. We're not winning. We haven't won an Ashes series. We haven't beaten India home or away. We've not won an ICC event. So we're poor in the Caribbean when we got to the semis, beating nobody. That was a poor performance. The Champions Trophy last year, we didn't win a game. And now in this World Cup, we've probably just gone beyond par. So there's some honest conversations that need to happen. Do I want the whole setup ripped up? Absolutely not.
Okay.
But do I want the ECB and those that have been involved with the decision-making process to get around the table and understand they've made a lot of mistakes, done a few good things as well, but accept the mistakes and you can move forward. But there will need to be the odd personnel change. And that might be in the backroom team. Because I look at the Barcelona football method where Barcelona seem to always promote from within. So they kind of build up all these coaches, and when a manager goes, there's almost like a conveyor belt waiting. There you go, there's another one. I worry in English cricket that we've created a management group that it's almost like if one goes, they all have to go because they're all in the same kind of mould. Now, I think if you're doing your job really, really, really well, your time in office as an England cricket coach, if you stepped out of office, there should be a group that's waiting to take you over. At the minute, if Baz McCullum says, look, I've had enough, I'm not going, well, who's going to do it? There's no one there waiting. And that, for me, is a little bit of a fault of our system that we've allowed this to happen. So that needs to be put right. And if Baz is the person to take the England team forward, I just think he needs to change one or two things. And I also think he needs to go and sell his way a little bit more to the whole of our game. At the minute, it's like we have a group of players that are in this club and they're going to pick from this club. Now, I think he's a coach that I don't know a great deal about because it's all very private. And I think the whole of county cricket doesn't really know what he's about, because he's never really been to county cricket or he's never presented to all the counties. I'd love him to go to every single county with Rob Key and just present the method of England. This is what we want. This is what we're about. These are the roles that we create in every team. So every single player within our system would look at the roles and go, all right, I can make myself into that. So in a year or two's time, I'll get picked for England because I can see myself playing in that position. At the minute, I think there's a bit of a gap between the England team and the game. And somehow we've got to try and marry that together.
No major trophies in the last 4 years. Post 2015, they had a complete upgrade. They brought Brendan McCullum in. It worked. Won the 2019 ODI World Cup. As I said, no trophies in the last 4 years since that 22 campaign. Has Brendan McCullum given England everything he had to offer? Is he done? Should the ECB take that tough call and say, I think it's time we bring in a fresh set of ideas?
Well, I don't think he's done, but I think like any leader, it's like a captain. If you have a poor winter, you sit down and go, right, what have I done right and what have I done not so well, and you try and learn from that. And I think Brendan, I would hope, would look back and not point the finger at little bits of bad fortune or the team not quite buying into the method. They've all made mistakes, which is fine. It's sport. It's human beings making decisions. You're going to make mistakes. That's fine. But I think it's more the pathway of the ECB. For me, many, many years ago, there was a chairman that came in called Giles Clark. And I always remember him coming in, it was around 2008, and he said, we're going to be the number one team in the world. And I remember listening to him going, I've got no chance. You must be crackers. But it's tangible because you can be judged. And at the minute with the ECB, I don't see them sending that message to us. So I want to see from the top that in either 2 years or 4 years in Australia, that this England cricket team, both men and women, they're going to be the number one team in the world. And to get to being the number one, once you start setting that goal, you work backwards. And to get to that goal, you need the best of the best of the best. That means the best system, the best coaches, and obviously the best players. And at the minute, I don't think we have that. Or they might be a bit wary of saying that because you can be judged. But once you see that goal, once you kind of send it out to the press and the media, we're going to be the number one team in the world. Because by the way, in 2008, when Giles Clark said it, I was like, crackers. Yeah. But it happened in 2012.
Yeah.
England got to number one in the world because that goal was something that they kept on chasing. At the minute, I don't hear that. So I'd love to see the ECB as a whole sit down and go, by 2029, when we're back in Australia, we want to go down to Australia as the number one team in the world, and we're going to win in Australia. So it's going to be a 4-year programme. that you have to beat many other teams. We want to reach a World Test Championship final. We haven't reached one.
Yeah.
We want to reach one. And we want to win an ICC event, whichever, T20, 50 over ICC, 50 over World, whatever it is. In that 4-year period, to be the number one team in the world, you're going to have to start winning some big events. And that means India series home and away, Australia home and away, an ICC event. By the way, you're not going to win them all.
Yeah.
But in 4 years' time, if you've got a goal to try and aim for, there's a better chance that you might make it there.
You mentioned the word method. Does the method need an upgrade? Are you and the England cricket fraternity and the fans done to death with this whole baseball business? Does that need an upgrade?
Well, look, first of all, it's a cool word that everyone uses. I don't think the players or the team use baseball. It's something that was created by those within the media. So you've got to kind of put the players to one side and the management. They haven't come out and said, "Oh, we're the baseballers."
Yeah.
You don't win anything in sport by playing one way. And the problem that this team has had, particularly in Test match cricket, if they've played this one way, and the better teams, Australia, India, have found them out. You go to Australia again. If England had played half sensibly on that second afternoon of the first Test in Perth, they win that game and they go 1-0 up in an Ashes series. But they played, dare I say, the baseball way.
Yeah.
And it was a failure. And too often you go to the last Test match at the Oval, needing 30 on the last morning, 5 wickets in the tank, 2 fours off the first 2 balls, 22, 5 wickets in the tank. All right, 4 because Chris Woakes has got his shoulder in a sleeve. We lost convincingly because they went the expansive way. So the expansive game has been royally entertaining. And by the way, I like to see expansive cricket. If you've got the chance to go big and go hard at the opposition, do it. But you can't do it all the time.
Yeah.
And you can't win a 5-match series by playing just that one way. And that's the one thing that I've learned over the course of the last few years, that you can win Test matches playing that way, but you can't win the big series because it's been proven. In a 5-match series against India, against Australia, these better teams just find a way. And England have allowed the opposition in by playing that way on too many occasions. So as long as they're willing to accept that you can play expansively at the right times, but you've also got to earn the right to play expansively. And also when you get on top, just enjoy being on top and grind the opposition in there. Not by playing Chris Tavares or Boyks' way, but enjoy being on top by just playing good cricket. Look, if they can do that, no problem. But to do that, there might need to be some honest, truthful conversations. And we'll see if those happen. We'll see. Look, at the end of an Ashes series losing 4-1, we've not got to a final. In a month's time or 6 weeks' time, if there's not one or two that have kind of gone by the wayside, I'll be honest, I would be surprised.
I think adding to what just Michael said, just watching England team playing, especially in Test cricket, when Baz came with the England team, when he joined the England team, I think he has a particular method. It was what we saw in the last 3-4 years, the brand of cricket they were playing. And I completely agree with Michael. Test cricket is about the conditions, it's about the situations. You cannot play one way. In England, what I saw, I played county cricket for 2 years now, and whatever the knowledge or the people were talking about, they wanted to play with certain strike rate. When England did well in Test cricket, especially in England, when the wickets were slightly helpful for the seamers. But right now, the brand of cricket, what they want to play, the baseball, what they call, is basically a batter-friendly wicket, where England bowlers are actually struggling. Yeah. When England had this little bit help for the seamers, even if they were getting 270, 275 as a batting team, but their bowlers used to bowl really well. Yeah. But right now, their bowlers are completely out of the game. Yeah. I can understand completely, you have to entertain people, that's okay, but T20 format is for the entertainment. The 50-over format is for the entertainment. But Test cricket, you got to respect the conditions, the situations, play accordingly, try to win each and every session. And then you can play a certain brand of cricket in a particular session. If you bat well the first session, it's a typical Test cricket. First 2 hours, just respect the bowlers, respect the conditions. If you are set in second and third session, you can still dominate. You can still play that brand of cricket. Yeah. So I think at this moment, there'll be a lot of talks must be going on, but let the things settle. Yes, England players, they entertain, but the team always wants to win the championship. Win the series. It's not about the entertainment. No, you can be happy by playing certain brand of cricket for a game, a series or two series. But if you're not winning any series, if you're not winning any championship, then you got to sit back and think, oh, where can we tweak?
Yeah, I mean, he's incredibly popular with the players. The players love playing in this environment.
Okay.
You know, because he creates a fun environment. You know, it's fun to play for England.
Yeah.
Whether it's got the attention to detail that you're required to just get over the next line. Because today was the first time I've seen an England side in the field just look a little bit on edge.
Yeah.
And that's, what you create this culture of fun and is to get your players into the situation when the pressure's on, they don't feel the pressure because that's the vibe that you've created.
Yeah.
And, again, England have got to be really honest with themselves that there's been a number of times now that when the pressure's really been on at the crucial times, this too cool for school kind of environment, it actually has not got England over the line. Yeah. They kind of get to that position, we're going to win. And then, it doesn't get them over the line to that next step. And the hardest thing in sport is winning. It's the hardest thing. It's not easy to get to that stage of winning, but it's a lot easier than getting over the line to win. And that's the next challenge for this England side is to play as they can, but they've got to have this mentality that when they get to the big moments, you've got to get over the line.
I suppose every micro detail will be dissected threadbare in England, and I'd love to see what the scribes come up with in tomorrow's sporting headlines. For now, though, it has been India's evening. They go through to the finals. They were put into bat first, and bat they did. Sanju Samson delivering yet another masterclass, perhaps a touch better than the one in Kolkata. That, he said, was the best day of his life. Maybe this one was a touch better. Shivam Dube, Ishan Kishan, Hardik Pandya as well with key contributions towards the end, helping India go past 250. Had it been 230, 240, who knows? England might have been celebrating because take a look at how close they came. India won by 7 runs. Jacob Bethell now has a list 100 and a Test 100 and now a T20 International 100 as well. This was...
he doesn't have a first class 100.
It doesn't matter. He can keep doing it for England. It doesn't matter. 22 years of age, the second fastest 100 in T20 World Cup. Say you are then bringing England ever so close. But then Bumrah, the insurance policy, ensuring that India win and go through to that grand finale in Ahmedabad on Sunday. We have to look at that final. England out. South Africa out. It's India versus New Zealand at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad. It's time India move on from the scars of the past. They're not facing Australia. India have got to believe they can win. Michael Vaughan is nodding. He's saying, no, I'm going to go to Ajinkya Rahane. Lessons for India from the campaign so far. They came very close to losing the semi-final. Key lessons that India must take into this final?
I think just take the positives, basically. As I said, throughout the tournament, everyone contributed with the bat. With the ball, yes, there are a few guys who struggled with the ball. But again, final, you got to just give your best. Stay in the moment and give your best. Rather than thinking about what can we do better, what went wrong, what went right. Just take all the positives from all the matches and just be in the moment. New Zealand is a team, you don't want to take them lightly at all. But I think, whenever India beaten England, India won the World Cup.
Ooh.
So India just need to be in the moment, respect New Zealand. Yeah. I'll repeat again, respect New Zealand. How well they played against South Africa. They reached here and they always play as a unit. They always play as a team. So I think India just needs to respect New Zealand and play their natural game.
India were pushed. They won a high-pressure semi-final. New Zealand completely blew apart South Africa. Who starts favourites?
India are favourites. But I think New Zealand will look at the way they played in the semi. I think they'll like the fact the final's in Ahmedabad. They'll like the fact that India lost the 50-over World Cup final in Ahmedabad. And I'm sure Mitchell Santner will try and do what Pat Cummins did, quieten the crowd.
Yeah.
New Zealand have got enough to beat India without any question. I think it's just on the day, can you get your better players playing? And, I guess the toss will be quite important. Chasing there's usually a little bit of an advantage, but then you nullify it with a World Cup final. The pressure of a chase in a World Cup final is never, ever easy. But I have India as favourites, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if New Zealand won because they're due. They are due to win a white ball ICC event because they've earned the right and they've played so consistently for such a long period of time. They've knocked on the door on a regular basis, but I would guess it'd probably need an opening partnership from Seifert and Finn Allen to get them out of the traps, get their kind of batting line up with a load of confidence. But yeah, India favourites, but I think it'll be a very close game.
Ajinkya, what is the procedure to ensure it's not a black soil pitch? I hate black soil pitches.
I think it will be a red soil pitch.
And that suits India clearly, right?
Yes.
Because, I mean, that plan backfired at the ODI World Cup final. It's got to be a
I
red
think
soil
you
pitch.
want to play on a fair wicket in the finals rather than thinking about the advantages and disadvantages. Play on a fair wicket and then have a fair game. And India always did really well on the red soil wicket.
Yeah.
So I think India will probably look to play on red soil wicket where there's a good bounce. Even if they lose the toss, bat first or whatever, they know red soil wicket. If they put runs on the board, they got bowling attack, especially Jasprit Bumrah.
Yeah.
When you have Jasprit Bumrah, 4 overs of Bumrah, you can actually try to defend any kind of total. But I still think India will go with the red soil wicket.
It's the batting that's come to India's rescue in that last game against the West Indies and then the semi-final as well. It's the batters that put on 250 plus on the scoreboard. But the world number 1 T20 ranked player, Abhishek Sharma, is struggling. The world number 1 ranked T20 bowler, Varun Chakravarti, is struggling. Is there a cure to these ills that India have to deal with?
No, I mean, they'll have conversations about Kuldeep replacing Chakravarti, but they'll go same again. They'll be... I can't imagine. They'll get on the plane tomorrow, they'll get to Ahmedabad, they'll practice and they'll chat and they'll look at the pitch and they'll try and work out the kind of dimensions. Is it going to be good for Kuldeep or is it going to be good for Chakravarti? But eventually, I'm pretty sure they'll go with the same again.
Right. Having seen what India did in the semi-finals, won by 7 runs after having scored 253, key lessons for Suryakumar Yadav as captain in the way he uses his bowling resources, assuming India going with the same 11.
I think using Varun basically a little tactically, if he's struggling in the end, finishes over. Even if he doesn't bowl 4 overs, if you can squeeze in Shivam Dube's over in between where wicket falls, try and do that. If Varun bowls 3 good really overs, then just give him the 4th over. But if he's struggling again, you have Shivam Dube who can bowl that 1 over for him.
Okay.
So I think, but talking about Varun and Abhishek Sharma, in cricket we always say law of averages. Guys are struggling, just 1 game, and both of them are match winners. Abhishek Sharma, talented, it's just the expectations. The kind of series he had against New Zealand, he actually dominated throughout the series, and they are playing against New Zealand again. Varun bowled well against New Zealand.
Yeah.
Finals against New Zealand. So they just need to believe whatever happening around them outside the field, just ignore for the one more time. Go out there and play with freedom.
He got it right about Sanju Samson a couple of months ago, and maybe he will get it right about Abhishek and Varun as well. Michael, for you, key tweaks or any changes or any lessons that Suryakumar Yadav must go into the final with?
No, I mean, he's just got to... I mean, his batting lineup are playing with a huge amount of freedom. And, look at that. I think the batting will be the kind of facet that wins India the World Cup with all that power. But I guess you're just hoping that on the day you can get a performance out of your team. Today you got a good enough performance out of your team, particularly with the batting hand. They were tremendous. And, the last 3 performances from the batting, Zimbabwe, they beat West Indies.
Yep.
And obviously against England have been fantastic. And I think that might be the difference.
New Zealand clearly coming off a monstrous win. They completely blew South Africa away. They've got to believe they can compete. If England can push India, there's no reason why New Zealand can't, and they've got to believe they can win this one.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the way, especially the last game, how well they dominated, how well they played. First with the ball and then with the bat, chasing that target down in 12.5 overs.
Yep.
And convincingly. As I said, New Zealand is the team, you don't want to take them lightly at all. They play as a team, they hunt in pack, they are always together on the field.
Yeah.
The bowling unit, what they have, I was really impressed with Lockie Ferguson, how well he bowled.
Yeah.
Bowling in the middle overs, bowling in the death overs as well, the variations and the opening partnership in the last game. Finn Allen and Tim Seifert was amazing. So they got quality all around. They got proper team, quality opposition. I think they are absolutely believe. They they do absolutely believe that no, they have a chance of winning this World Cup. That's why I said India just need to respect them and play the game.
Does James Neesham play the final? Expensive bowling figures in that semi-final as well. Does he get a look in? Do they go in with the same 11 for you, Michael?
No, they'll think of Sodhi and they'll think of Duffy coming in for Neesham. But again, they've won a semi-final so convincingly.
Yeah.
I think they'll just go same again. They'll want to pack the batting.
Yeah.
I think they'll look at what England have just done with the batting hand. You know, England had so much depth that you can just keep going and going. And I think New Zealand will just go, that semi-final worked. We'll try and win the toss again. And we'll try and chase down 170 again.
Is there a way two KKR boys are likely to have an off day? What does the captain say? Okay, I think he said it. That smile says it all. I better not push Ajinkya because this is still India v New Zealand, not KKR versus the rest. He was all smiles during that first semi when Allen and Seifert were blowing South Africa away. But New Zealand, do they have the bowling attack to stop this rampaging Indian batting order? They've got Santner, they've got McConchy who can bowl in the power play, they've got Rachin Ravindra as well, and then there is Lockie Ferguson.
See, they got variety in the bowling attack, fast bowlers and spinners as well. I feel the best left-arm spinner, Mitchell Santner. Know how? I mean, the way he bowled against South Africa, using his pace, using the crease. It's hard to actually see what is he going to bowl.
Yep.
Whether it's a slow ball or the faster one, he just throws it away. So I think New Zealand got it covered. I mean, you spoke about Santner.
Ravindra,
Rachin, then Lockie Ferguson, Matt Henry. So they got all the areas covered.
Yeah.
Bowling wise, they are really good. It's the team who is going to handle pressure better in the finals. I think they'll win the World Cup. It's about that.
Right. Okay. Usually we do players to watch out for. We want that, but we also want matchup to watch out for. Take your time, gentlemen. We have all the time in the world.
I think the start of Henry to Sanju. I think Sanju's now in incredible. New Zealand have to get him out early, so I think Henry's going to be a big play. So I'll go that matchup, Henry to Sanju, and it's do you gamble Jasprit bowling one of the first two to Seifert and Finn Allen to try and make sure that you get rid of that partnership?
I think I'm looking forward to see Lockie Ferguson versus Suryakumar Yadav.
Okay.
Because he bowls in the middle over, Surya bats there. And he's been bowling really well. So I'm really looking forward to that battle. And then tough, but Finn Allen versus Bumrah.
Okay.
That's the contest.
And do I assume those are your players to watch out for?
Yeah.
The final is locked. It's coming up on Sunday. I know 1.5 billion Indian fans will be feeling the pressure. Their mind, their hearts will race back to that fateful day, the 19th of November 2023. But a final then, a trophy in 24, a trophy in 25. How about another trophy in 2026? They've got a game to win for that to happen. We've got a detailed preview for you already. How about we give you the answer to today's Joy Factor as well? Did it have anything to do with the players on the field today? Here we go then. Akash Bhandari, who played for Hyderabad between 2012 and 2019, is the only first-class wicket of which cricketer? And the answer is...
Suryakumar Yadav? Was it Suryakumar Yadav?
Is it Suryakumar Yadav?
I don't know, I'm just saying.
Just a tukka, let's find out. The answer is... Varun Chakravarti, the only wicket in the only first-class match he's played in 2018. Well, Varun may be the answer for India as well. In that big final, we'll find out. I suppose I came very close. I came very close to getting it right, but I couldn't. Let's find out who got it right. No, the winner of Joy Factor, Sudeep Avayankar. Well done, Sudeep. Gets a thumbs up from Mr. Bhattacharya. Well done. Who do I say well done to? Mr. Rahane, who got it right today. I predicted 235. I thought I was being brave, but then they went past that, 253.
Did you get bullseye?
Yes.
Oh, right,
68.
Cool.
How does it look like now? Ooh.
I'm still... Michael, where are you? Michael,
Fourth, I'm in the Premier League.
Wow.
Oh, I'm loving that. Dinesh is bottom of the tree. That's great.
Mr. Rahane, you're no longer at the last spot on this points table. Dinesh Karthik unfortunately will miss out because he's not coming here for the final. I've sadly moved to the right of that graphic. It doesn't matter. I don't mind losing this Guezzing game because, well, if India wins, it's all good in the hood. It'll be better on Sunday, as you'll see the very talented Siamic here in this very sofa with Michael Vaughan. And are you coming for the finals?
Yes.
Ooh, it'll be a super trio with the great Mr. Gaurav Kapoor entertaining all of you on Cricbuzz Live Hindi. Well done to India and well done to New Zealand the other night against South Africa. May it be a cracking final. See you at 6:20 p.m. on Sunday evening with Cricbuzz Live. Bye-bye.